Evans fight tomorrow?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back on here on this beautiful September 30th day. Um, week 4 CU Sunday is live. We got what should be a decent slate of games tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow morning, depending on what side of the country you're on. Um, but I got the usual crew with me. I got Mo, I got Kenneth, I got the Prez, Chris LeBron. You already know what we're gonna start with. We're gonna start with this off the ball rankings, which caused a little. We hurt some feelings this week, guys.
We did. We actually got a lot of comments. I saw that. I actually saw that.
So one guy was in my comments or in our comments in the off the ball one.
Arguing about
He was hurt about the Vikings. He was
Stop
really hurt
losing
about the
football
Vikings.
games,
They're 0-3.
Like, and that's what I had told him. Like, bro, you're 0-3. You can't expect to be in the top third or be better than the bottom third of the league when you start 0-3.
Also, I want to I want to talk about one of the things that he said, which is that the Vikings would beat everyone in that column, and I don't think that's true. Because we can talk all we want about the fact that Kirk's leading the league in passing yards. Guess what? He has to because that defense is so bad. I think that there's multiple teams on the right that could beat the Vikings right now.
I think I would say, and like I told him, was that the Vikings probably should beat every team in that column, but I don't think they would.
I don't think they beat the Titans.
I think they beat everybody below them. Like they beat Carolina.
Yeah, which is why they're 29.
Yeah, in Chicago. I think they probably beat the Cardinals, to be honest. I'm not going to let the Cardinals beating Dallas like, oh, yeah, this is a great team or nothing. Come on. But I would say the Titans, the Raiders, and the Cardinals, I wouldn't be shocked if either one of those three teams beat. And I wouldn't be shocked if Houston did because Minnesota's defense is so bad. And the way CJ Stroud looks right now, offensively, they could pick that defense apart. Their weapons look pretty good. So, I mean, just the way Houston looks offensively, I wouldn't be surprised. They could find themselves, that'd be a shootout game against Minnesota. That might be a 28-24.
Prisoners of thinking that offense is the only thing that matters in the NFL. The Vikings already had one of the worst defenses in the league last year and somehow got worse.
Well, I got his point, though. Like, okay, so I got what he was saying is like, oh, are the Vikings really the fourth worst team in the NFL? Probably not. Like, from a standpoint of if you just do, on even field, what would be the odds of them winning games? Probably not. But at the same time, this list is like we go week by week. So if you're sitting at 0-3, I'm not putting you at 13. Even though you might be better than some of those it's week by week, and you're sitting at 0-3. All 0-3 teams deserve to be at the bottom. There's no such thing.
Regardless of record, who in the next column then, 17 through 24, would the Vikings be better than for you guys? Is it just the Jets because of QB?
The Colts, maybe.
Yeah, I think maybe the Colts. I know they're surprising us at 2-1, but I think they're also a team that could collapse at any point. Like they could start off 3-1 and then finish with 4 wins.
They're a young team. I get that, but I look at that column and I'm like, I don't think that the Vikings are better than any of those teams, and I think that the ones on the right, some of them are beating the Vikings with the way that they're currently constructed. Like they can't stop fumbling the football. It's crazy what the Colts lose right now.
I don't know if the Colts lose to the Vikings. I mean, you're talking about the way they looked good last week with Gardner Minshew. Like it don't matter who they put, AR or Gardner Minshew. That team is still decent.
Yeah,
offensively.
That is killing me about the Vikings is the apparent ineptitude of Kirk Cousins and Kevin O'Connell as a duo. Because you, in the game last week against the Chargers, you get the ball like at the 30. Chargers gift you a short field, given you have no timeouts. Get the ball around the 30. You get a decent chunk of yards. You're inside the 10, I think, with about 40 seconds. And you don't get a playoff until 12 seconds left. Like, no urgency to clock it. There's not. And like all of that forced Kirk Cousins to kind of rush to get a playoff because you had that play and then maybe one or two more, which ended up just being an interception. Like just the complete ineptitude of that team, the way it's looked over the last couple of weeks. And again, you can't expect to be better than the bottom third at 0-3.
Exactly.
No.
But Dolphins finally took the top spot after, it took a 50-point ass whooping to do so. Shout out to the Miami Dolphins and Josh McDaniel, or Mike McDaniel, rather, not Josh McDaniels. Did you guys see the Chandler Jones stuff the other day?
Dude. But like, it's one of those with Chandler Jones. Like, and I know you don't want to say too much without offending anybody, but like, bro, there's not just him, but there's been a couple instances in the past like year where it's like, I don't think they're taking it serious enough. Like, I don't think, and it's not the player, it's the NFL. Like, there should be a way more higher cause for concern and reaching out. And maybe they are behind the scenes. I know he's leaking messages and all that, but like at the same time, like, dude was just fine. Like, it seemed like he was just fine. He just played last year. Everything was good. Heard nothing about injury or anything in the summer. And then like the season's about to start and he's locked out of the facility apparently. And he's like losing his mind on social media. And we saw that last year. Who was it? Was it Danielle Hunter? I think it was Danielle Hunter for the Vikings. Remember, he like locked himself out and had like a mental episode. He's back on the field, thank God. But like, I don't think it's being taken serious enough. Like, it just doesn't seem like enough urgency to make sure that Chandler Jones is okay. And we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but we heard like there was a standoff with Danielle Hunter and there were police outside and it was being, covered. I think they're just trying to push these guys randomly, like flipping a switch and trying to push it to the side, especially since Antonio Brown did what he did and all it's been negative. And I think they're trying not to shed light because it brings damage to the sport of like, hey, these dudes are really hurting their head. Now health and safety starts coming into concern again. And, the safer you get, the more you lose viewers, essentially. It's already a violent sport. And the safer you get, the less people watch. So I don't know. It's just a concern for me. Like, I'm really concerned about the dude.
Yeah. But back to the topic, Mike McDaniel and that Dolphins team, again, put up 70 points. I think we're 3 points shy of tying the record for most points in the game by a team. But was that game more of this is what the Dolphins can do, or was it more of, wow, the Broncos are really cooked?
The Broncos are really cooked.
Both. I think a little bit of both.
Because all that trash that Sean Payton was talking this offseason about Nathaniel Hackett and how it was the worst coaching job he had ever seen, and he can't believe like he had the job for as long as he did. To start 0-3, to lose to the Raiders, to squander an 18-point lead to the Commanders, who just got the living crap kicked out of them by Buffalo, and then to lose by 50 points.
The most embarrassing loss in recent memory, period, point blank.
That has to be like go down as one of the worst.
You scored 20 and lost by 50.
Mm-hmm.
You scored 20 and lost by 50 in a NFL game. In an NFL game.
Not an NBA game. Not a college basketball game.
College football. That's okay. You scored 20 and lost by 50. Do you know how embarrassing that is to be a professional? We still put up 20 points and we lost by 50. Yeah. That only happens in college football when we're talking about football.
And we're talking weeks 0 through 3 is when that usually happens.
Didn't running backs have 8 touchdowns?
Alabama? Yeah.
8 touchdowns between 2 running backs. I put
Mostert than the rookie, right?
Yes, I put my backup in to stop the bleed. I couldn't do nothing. I kept running the ball and a chain just kept going crazy. What am I do at that point?
I kept looking at my phone and it kept saying Dolphins are in the red zone. I'm like, is this an error? Maybe like as a glitch? I was like, oh no, they're really in the red zone again. And then like touchdown, and then like they're in the red zone like 2 minutes later. I'm like, what happened? They're in the red zone again. Boom. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Like it was an absolute beat. It's embarrassing. And it's just funny. Like you mentioned, Cruz, you got Sean Payton talking all this crap, about the job, last year with Nathaniel Hackett. And it's like, dude, you're worse. You're doing worse, actually. At least the defense last year was competent. They were actually, playing hard. This year, it's the defense is just giving up.
And Russell Wilson's playing average. He's
average.
actually playing average. He's not playing bad to where like you should be losing. He's playing good enough that you should either have a win or not lose by 50. Like if you look at his numbers, he's playing average to slightly above average. He's playing better. He's not fully cooked. He doesn't look bad. I don't put the losses on Russell Wilson. When you look at his numbers, he's not throwing a bunch of picks. But that defense, they got too much talent. You let 70.
Well, that's the thing, that they're losing games completely differently than they were last year, because wasn't the stat like if Denver scored like above 13 or 16 points in like all their games last year, they would have been a playoff team? Like it was something crazy like that, where they just were so inept on offense. And now the offense is actually all right. They had 33 on Washington, 20 last week. Like those are numbers that you could realistically win with in the league, but the defense is just so bad. And I think feels like the locker room's kind of lost overall right now. Like you see guys that are just like, I'm so sick of losing. The ones that have been in Denver since the Manning years. It's tough for that franchise. And the only locker room that's more lost is probably the Jets right now. But that being said, they at least have a win on the scoreboard.
I think the Bears are down.
Russell Wilson is top 10 in a lot of stats. He's top 10 in yards, top 10 in touchdowns, top 10 in top 20 in completion percentage. He's top 10 in a lot of these, and close to top 10 in QBR.
And they're still talking about benching Russell Wilson. Like there are still analysts and people out here who say they know football that like Russell Wilson should get benched. Oh, yeah, a guy who's top 10 in most major or a borderline top 10 in almost every major category that matters as a quarterback is the problem. Like, it's just easy to blame Russell Wilson because you don't see it getting better from here. And, like, at the end of the season, unless Sean Payton quits, like, if you give up on somebody, you're going to give up on Russell Wilson, especially because you have an opportunity to be so bad that you could get Caleb Williams realistically. And so now if I'm Sean Payton, like, okay, I had a year. If I draft a quarterback that buys me 2 to 3 years, I got 2 to 3 years in, Denver. I get the first year as a pass because I got a rookie quarterback. But they're just in a bad spot because even if Russell Wilson continues to play the way he plays and they keep losing, though, they're not in that bad of a spot because certain teams might actually trade for Russell Wilson. I know his contract is atrocious and this and that, but if he back to like, hey, at the end of the season, nobody wants to admit it, but he's a top 10-ish quarterback. Like, I'd trade for that if I absolutely needed a quarterback. Like, if my quarterback absolutely sucks, I would entertain that if I'm the Falcons or the Raiders. Like
a team that actually has pieces in place. And another thing to note as well with these power rankings, these were done before Thursday night because
don't tell us about Detroit. Or Green Bay.
No, I'm more so thinking Green Bay sitting there at 12. Like they got a plummet after the way that they looked on Thursdays. So these were done prior to that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, we did put them out Wednesday morning.
Week 5. Just take into account that Thursday was the start of week 5. So don't, hey, Detroit's a top 5 team and Green Bay should be 19th. Like we understand that. Let week 5 play out and Green Bay will fall where they need to fall.
They can plummet along with the Commanders after this week.
Who the Commanders play?
So, moving on. We play Philly tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we beat them last year. I'm
not going to say I was just bugging you. I think you actually have a chance to cover this week.
if Eric... Well, it's only like fucking 3.5.
It's 9.
It's 9.
It's 9.
Is it really?
Yes.
It's in Philly.
It's in Philly.
If it was in Washington, it'd probably be like 4.5.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think we'll cover. Sam Howell's not going to look the way Sam Howell looked last week.
Hey, basura. Straight basura. He looked so bad. I was oh, man.
It was rough. So moving on. Mo, we're going to start with you. What's your game to watch? Cowboys, I think you guys, I don't know who you guys play.
I never pick my team. Obviously,
no, right. Outside of the Cowboys, what game is going to be on TV one for you?
I'm still on the train, baby. Dolphins and Bills. That is the game to watch. And the Dolphins are going up to Buffalo. So, I know it's not cold in Buffalo right now. Like, I know it's not like freezing cold to prove the point that the Dolphins don't play in good in cold weather. But this is the best team they've played so far. Their offense has looked historically elite. They get Jalen Waddle back this week. Buffalo's been up and down, essentially. I mean, they've been up as far as the past 2 weeks after that week 1 loss. But still, it's just we know Buffalo can be very up and down. Jordan Poyer's not playing. DeMar Hamlin's going to get the start. I think that's going to have an effect. I'm sorry, DeMar Hamlin really just isn't that good. I'm sorry, and I'm just being honest. Like, I'm sorry.
What?
He's not. And I've been.
Why are we slandering DeMar? Did this man die on national TV? And we got
because he's not. Like, the thing is, like, his story is amazing, but he's not that good. He's been a healthy scratch for the first 3 weeks for a reason. And so what I'm saying is that's going to have an effect on Buffalo. Like, that's going to have an effect on Buffalo. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are going to kill them over the top. I really think Miami wins this game, but I just think this is the game to watch. Like, this is probably the best matchup when you talk about you talk about expectations, and you talk about the divisions on the line. And DeMar Hamlin's not good.
DeMar Hamlin, this man survived, died on national TV.
I just got to
he's just bringing up the skill gap between
the skill gap between Jordan, like missing Jordan Poyer is going to be seen tonight, like tomorrow. Like, you're going to see, like, dang, we don't have our starting safety. How is Tyreek Hill so wide open 30 yards down the field?
I mean, would I have bashed a dead man? No, but hey,
he's not dead. He's not dead. Well, it doesn't matter. He's alive.
A dead man's clone. My bad.
He's alive and he's playing football. So therefore, hey, he's not that good. Sorry. I'm sorry.
All right.
My bad.
I just feel like
once again, injuries are the reason DeMar Hamlin gets to play. Like, sorry. That's what you saw last year. That's what this year.
Man could have cured cancer, and Mo would have been like, yo, but he still sucks at football, though.
Yeah. Dude could have went and joined the army. I don't care. Like, if you're not good at football, you're not good at football. We get to slander anybody else when they're not good at football.
He's in the NFL, so he has to be,
I understand that. You know what I'm saying.
When Hamlin gets a pick tomorrow, we all gotta come back and
turn my phone off.
The dead man got a pick.
Just like you did last Sunday.
Got a pick.
I didn't turn my phone off.
2 weeks in a row, the Mo just leaves the chat.
I didn't leave. I just didn't respond. What is there to say?
Go. Emotional damage.
Well, yeah. Ken, what's your game to watch this weekend?
I mean, the game that for me is to watch, I'm definitely going to be too hungover to watch, is Atlanta and Jacksonville. Because I'm interested in this game because Atlanta looked so bad last week after beating the Packers, and I thought that was their win where they were going to start to kind of take off a bit, and then they lose, and then Jacksonville just hasn't looked good out of the gate. So I know that it's the London game that can be very hit and miss sometimes because, I mean, last year we got a pretty good London game. I think it was Green Bay Giants last year, which the Giants came back and won. It was a really entertaining one.
Yeah,
I think it has the potential to be that with these two, but I mean, Desmond Ritter's really bad. So I'm interested in this game. I think it's going to be a really good one. You've got the Jags who are -3. I would probably take that spread, but again, they haven't looked great out of the gate. T-Law has not delivered so far. So I think we could have two teams coming back 500, or we could have Jags hitting panic mode and the Falcons are suddenly 3-1, and we're like, what the hell? They don't even have a QB.
Chris,
the Toy Story Bowl. Like that's how bad the Jaguars are. They're like, yo, just make them to cartoons and put them at 9:00 on ESPN Plus.
And Nickelodeon. Are they going to be on Nickelodeon tomorrow?
They're like Toy Story, the Toy Story game. They're just gonna.
I'm gonna wake up, have no idea what planet I'm on, and be like, "What the hell is happening on my TV?"
The Toy Story Bowl. Oh, that's how bad these quarterbacks are that they had to be Toy Story Bowl. I'm going to go with the obvious what Mo said, Bills and Dolphins. That's the game. I could have said the other great game that's going to be on Telemundo, Bears and Broncos. They should just flex that to Telemundo because that I feel bad for anyone who watches that game.
That one's on ESPN the Ocho, Chris, if you're wondering.
No, Telemundo, channel 47. You gotta watch on channel 47, bro.
Yeah, that's
just bad if you have to watch that. But yeah, I'm Dolphins Bills. That's gonna be a fun game. You got two really good offenses. But,
Chris, just because you said that game, can someone explain to me why the over-under for Bears Broncos is 46.5?
I was just looking at that, Mike.
Sucks so bad. They think Russell.
Yeah, but we're saying that both offenses are going to be good enough to take advantage of that.
I think Justin Fields will run for 100+ yards.
6.5.
Bro, I think I could see that being a 3-6 game and
2-0.
Like you're saying that to go over, it would have to be 27-21. I don't think that both offenses are capable of 20+.
If that happens,
the Broncos are offensively. The Broncos are. I mean, they've done it. They've scored 33. Right. They've scored 20. Like,
yeah, but they would both have to do it.
Yeah, it would mean the other team has to be capable.
Yeah, the other team has to be capable of scoring.
Hey, shout out to my guy Justin Fields for just being another Ohio State throwaway. Now we hang our hat on CJ Stroud, buddy.
CJ Stroud, your best QB ever in the NFL. Ever.
I said that a week ago, 2 weeks ago. CJ Stroud after one game is the best quarterback to ever play from Ohio State. After week one,
yeah, he's playing good football.
Yeah,
I wonder if the Panthers are like, No,
I don't think Stroud would be any better in Carolina. They're so injured on both sides of the ball. Like, at least he got some weapons in Houston. Like, he's actually better off in Houston. He was better off. Like,
who's that rookie they got? Who's his
Tank
name?
Dell.
Tank Dell. Yeah, he's nice.
You got Robert Woods. Mechie's trying to come back. Nico Collins, who I liked coming out of college, even though he went to University of Michigan, but that dude was pretty damn good at Michigan, not gonna lie. So he got some weapons and stuff to work with. Like,
so Cruz, tell us why the Commanders can not only cover 9 points against the Eagles, but have the potential to win that game outright.
Because the Eagles are not the same Eagles that they were last year, and we beat them last year in the league with a heavy run game. Used a lot of Brian Robinson, which we did not use last week against Buffalo, even though Brian Robinson was averaging 7 yards a carry, only touched the ball 10 times, which is atrocious and should be criminal. Eric Bieniemy should be fined by the league for doing something like that. Eagles just not the same team they were last year. And as long as going with the right game plan and you stick to something that works, and Eric Bieniemy doesn't try to make Sam Howell into something that he's not yet. And Eric Bieniemy, I kind of feel like, and I hate to say this about him because it's kind of slanderous, but I feel like he's trying really hard to prove that, hey, that KC offense was because of me. It wasn't because of Patrick Mahomes. It wasn't because of Andy Reid. It was because of me, which looked good in the first 2 weeks. Yeah, we were like 7th in scoring.
Somehow looked really good. Yeah, it did. 100%. It did.
And then last week happened, and Sam Howell, and a lot of that is on Sam Howell. I want to know how Ron Rivera and Eric Bieniemy is going to fix his offensive line, because Wiley at right tackle, he's a liability. I saw somebody last week on Twitter say that we need to get Jacoby Brissett in there. Jacoby Brissett needs to start. Not sure if I put him at right guard or right tackle, but he needs to be on the field.
He just needs
like,
put his big ass at right tackle.
Wherever he goes, it's better than what we have. Which right guard isn't bad because Cosme's playing really well. It's Wiley that is.
But that's going to be a problem. Like, if your O-line is a problem against Philly, that's going to be a problem because that defensive line has been absolutely insane. Like, on paper, we knew they were insane when we let them get Jalen Carter. Like, the NFL let them get Jalen Carter. They got Jordan Davis. They was able to get Hassan Reddick. Like, all this stuff that they got, Fletcher Cox, like, that D-line, if that offensive line is that bad, that D-line going to expose them. And I think that's where Washington going to have a problem. Because Philly just going to be able to run the ball.
I think from a fantasy perspective, it's sit Washington running backs this week. I really do, because Eagles have the best rush defense so far this year. To be honest, Philly's secondary has not been great. They've got killed by Mac Jones. They got killed by Kirk Cousins. Even Baker looked capable last week.
Yeah.
And so
He
that's
has
where
some
I get concerned. I wouldn't bet the game personally, especially not the 9 number, but I get a little bit worried because what Washington's been doing is they've been gashing teams with Gibson and Robinson in the second half, and I just don't know if they'll be able to do that in this game. So that was my concern with it.
As long as they come up with a game plan and they stick to it, that's really the biggest thing, and not making Sam Howell go and win the game because he's not ready for something like that.
And since this is pretty much an NFC East show anyways, Chris, do you guys even have a chance against Seattle, or are you guys actually going to suit up this week?
We have another primetime game, which is kind of gross.
That's 3 primetime games.
It's 3 out of 4 weeks we got primetime games. No, I think we have a shot. I definitely think we have a shot. Barkley might suit up. He's been practicing, even though it's been on a limited basis. Andrew Thomas, I believe, is coming back. So I think we have a shot. I mean, I think Seattle's a better football team, and but I think we have a shot to win. It hasn't looked pretty, but I think we have a shot. It's going to be rainy, so maybe we can get a couple turnovers here because we don't like turnovers. We just like giving them out. So we'll see what happens, but season's over, so it's whatever.
You're calling it after 3 weeks?
3 weeks is over, bro.
Our season might be over after tomorrow, so
you guys are calling it. NFC East, it's Philly and
2-point
Dallas
dogs at home.
4. That's what we're saying here. Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to our guy Jeff. He's out in Vegas living his best life right now. Saying Hurts is quietly having an average season. Yeah,
why is he even
Hurts
awake
hasn't been
now?
because he's probably not you, Kenneth, and he probably Jeff seems like the kind of person that goes to Vegas with an itinerary.
I don't even think that he goes there with an itinerary. I feel like he goes to bed when the fun starts. Like the rest of us start going out at like 10, and Jeff's like, "All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Got to get up. College football's in the morning." Everyone else is like, "Oh, okay, bye."
The commitment. Hey, that's commitment.
Jeff's wearing Ohio versus the World t-shirt.
Damn right.
With a picture of what's his face on who's the old guy? What's his name again?
Lou Holtz.
Lou Holtz. Picture of Lou Holtz on there. Yeah, out here bullying old 87-year-old men.
Right.
Good job, Dave. You big man, you yelling at an 80-year-old.
Lou Holtz is arguing with Lou Holtz. And Ryan Day was like, you know what? This is the time to mention that after we won because 10 guys were on the field.
Honestly, that's the best way of putting it. He was arguing with himself.
Arguing with himself.
To get mad at it.
Ryan Day was
like,
you know what?
Show, though. Ohio State, they're not.
We'll save that for Phil Stormers. So Mo, actually, Kenneth, I'm gonna start with you. So we're gonna do it different this week. Oh, actually, I bet we talked about it a little bit. It's Mo's and Chris's game to watch. But just real quick, Miami Buffalo, it's your guys' game to watch. It's our rivalry game of the week. Two powerhouses basically. Miami, as you guys just saw, is number 1 in our rankings. Buffalo not far behind. I think they were 5 with a great outing last week against Washington. Looked like the Bills that we expected to see this season. Do you guys expect this to be a shootout?
Yes. Yeah, I do.
It's gonna be a track game.
Ken says no.
I say like 30.
I think it's one of those ones that on the surface screams track meet, but because it's 2 teams that know each other so well, like I'm thinking in terms of the fact that the over-under is like 53.5. So they're thinking like this is like 30-27 or 27-24. I think we're going to get like 24-21. There's still going to be plenty of touchdowns. It's going to be a great game to watch, but I think these defenses will step up a little bit. It'll depend on how well Josh Allen takes care of the football too, because even last week, like there's no reason for him to throw up that terrible ball that got picked off against Washington. Like I get it, the game's already in doubt, but he gets reckless with it. So I'm interested. I think it's going to be, I would take the under in that game. But anytime I see like 53.5, I just think that it's really tough to actually get to that number.
So talked enough about that game. Already talked about it twice. So Mo, I want to start with you. Give me your lock and your upset for the week.
All right. So my lock, you're gonna be surprised. I'm going Cleveland. Cleveland at home, -2. Some places -2.5, some places -1.5. But I'm going Cleveland. I think Baltimore is just too banged up. Like you're talking about, I don't really care that Rashad Bateman's not playing, but like Rashad Bateman's not playing, Odell Beckham's not playing. I think Marlon Humphrey's out on the defensive side. They got both their defensive ends out on the defensive side. Like they're so banged up. And so when you're banged up offensively against Cleveland, I think that's a problem because their defense has been essentially lights out. Like when you talk about some of the best defenses in the NFL, like Cleveland has maybe been going under the radar at how good their defense is. Their secondary has been pretty good. Obviously, Myles Garrett is a defensive player of the year candidate again at pretty much every year. So I'm going Cleveland is my lock. And my upset of the week, I didn't really think because who's really going to upset somebody? Dang. Man, there's not really an upset. I'm going to just say the Bucks beat the Saints just because. I'm going to take the Bucks. I'm going to go out on the limb. Maybe, at some point, history has to end. Mike Evans has been playing really, really good. And historically, he sucks in this game. Like Marshawn Lattimore, it's just Marshawn Lattimore literally takes Mike Evans out of this game. I think Mike Evans will have a pretty good game. I think he gets in the end zone this week. And they can build momentum. And I'm going to just take the Bucks to beat the Saints.
I like it. Chris, give me your lock and your upset.
I've been really bad with my upsets, to be honest. I picked the Commanders last week, and then
terrible.
Like they lost by 30. I should have went with my gut and with the Texans because I'm anti Jacksonville. So I'm gonna
take the Falcons to upset.
So I'm gonna take the Falcons to upset the Jaguars on Toy Story game. And my lock of the week is the Bears beat the Broncos. Let's have some fun.
Let's ride.
Let's go Justin Fields, baby. Big week.
Bears, let's ride.
Let's ride.
Kenneth.
So my lock of the week is going to be Buffalo over Miami. And my upset of the week is going to be Carolina over Minnesota. I think that the Vikings dropped to 0-4, and then everyone's like, okay, where's Kirk Cousins getting traded? Because they're already talking about that. So
if Minnesota loses when the rankings come out, I'm going to tag.
They'll be 31, depending, because one of Chicago and Denver's going to lose.
The Bears are going to win.
Someone has to be 0-4 out of those two, and someone has to be 1-3. So they'll jump Minnesota.
If the Vikings lose, do you consider trading Kirk Cousins? Like if
you considered trading Kirk Cousins 2 weeks ago.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like realistically, like 0-4, I don't think you're going to re-sign him to a contract extension. And like if I'm the Jets and I lose to Kansas City, which is expected, like do I not now call Kirk Cousins and be like, we're not too far off? I don't know.
It's over for the Jets. So
because
the Jets should have done that 2 week. The minute Aaron Rodgers got hurt, they should have been on the phone. It's too late.
Kirk may not have been available after week 1. Well, you lose your first day and Kirk's not available.
They suck. So
here's the thing: if they lose this week to Carolina, they play Kansas City next week. So call it 0-5. At that point, the season's over. Like 0-5, you're not recovering from 0-5.
No.
And I think at that point, that's when Minnesota goes, well, Kirk's clearly not it. This defense is going to take years to rebuild. So,
and you got to get a first round pick to get him. And if you're the Jets and you still have Aaron Rodgers expected to come back next season, you're going to give a first round pick for Kirk Cousins, and he's not even going to be on your roster.
I don't know if that's the actual market for Kirk, because Let's say that they're entertaining actually trading him, because I don't know if they are yet. If it was Carolina, let's have that discussion on Overreaction Monday. But if he's 0-5, season's done, then yeah, I think the market's probably a couple picks. But unless you actually plan on re-signing him, what teams in the league would do it? Like, I actually wouldn't be shocked if a team like Atlanta swoops in.
That's exactly.
That's a team that would swoop in and actually probably feel okay giving up a first-round pick for it.
You're not getting a first-round pick for Kirk. It's just not going to happen. You're not.
But if there was a team that would probably be okay with it, Atlanta might be, because they look at that division. They can win the division with Kirk. And if it doesn't work out, well, God, that's absolute panic mode. But that's a terrible division.
That's why I don't give up a first-round pick, because if
I still don't think that a first pick's on the table. I think it's more likely to be like
I think it's like a
third and then like a fifth for him.
Yeah. Bro, Kirk is not, because he's an impending free agent, you're not giving up a first-round pick for a guy that you could sign in the offseason. Like, nobody first-round pick for a guy I could just wait, finish out the season with Desmond Ridder and sign him for cheap in the offseason for a couple years.
So if we're talking about not being able to get a first-round pick, Chicago has 2 first-round picks. Would they consider giving one up?
No.
They take Justin Fields, isn't it?
And guess what? You got Caleb Williams, Michael Penix Jr., Drake May, and everybody else coming in. If I'm Chicago, I'm not a veteran quarterback away from winning anything. At this point, if I lose to Denver, I'm tanking for Caleb Williams, Drake May, Michael Penix Jr., Spencer Rattler, whoever it is it may be. I'm getting a young quarterback and starting back over, and I'm firing my head coach, and I'm bringing somebody else in. I'm not trading for what?
The teams who are in on Kirk are ones that actually have a real playoff shot or division winning shot, which is why I just don't think that Chicago's even thinking about picking up.
No, yeah, they're thinking about if we move on
division, they wouldn't do it. I don't think in division they would want to keep Kirk around there for the next number of years, potentially. Let's say Chicago hung on to him for a few more years.
My lock in upset, I'm going with Mo. I don't want to do this again. God.
Are we on the same page again?
With the upset, yeah.
Am I undefeated still?
We both are, yes.
Okay, cool.
Oh, then you guys have to pick different ones.
We said we'll do that later in the season.
Yeah, we agreed week 10.
Yeah. If we're still
we'll start
week 10, somebody, all right, we gotta go against our guns.
Let's
just go opposite of Rob.
My lock of the week. Can I do the Rams Colts? I mean, it's a pick 'em, so either way, right? That's a dub, right? The line is literally
pick 'em, so you pick.
Well, I have it as Colts are -1.
Yeah, they are in some books. So yeah,
I think they opened up at -1. Colts did, but right now, from what I'm seeing, the line is at -0. But
I'll say a pick 'em is you just pick a winner. That's my lock. I'm picking one team to win.
Yep.
Take the call.
You can pick an upset as a lock too, and sometimes that really doesn't work out, picking New England over Miami.
No, I'm gonna take the Chiefs over the Jets. They're -8.5.
Oh, you slickster. You have no pride.
No, I don't. I'm in it to win it. In the long game.
I'm in it to win it.
No pride.
Look,
so on my parlay cards, Eagles money line -400, lock it
in. Yeah, lock of the week.
Like all these other Twitter guys, I got Chiefs money line, I got Eagles money line, and I got.
And if I put them on a parlay, I put them on my
parlay, I'll win $12.
3-team parlay -250, boys. Let's get it.
Win 17 cents.
Let's ride.
Let's ride.
All right. Yeah. So my locks, Chiefs. Here's the locks. I'm the Chiefs. Mo has Cleveland. Chris rocking with the Bears, and Ken has Buffalo over Miami. Upsets. I got me and Mo both have Tampa once again, rocking the same upset. Atlanta thinks Chris thinks Atlanta. I'm not sure what Atlanta thinks of Chris, but Chris thinks
I'm anti-Jacksonville, so
Chris thinks that Atlanta is going to go into Andy's room and slap Trevor Lawrence around a little bit. I'm actually going to watch that feed. Not going to lie. I'm a huge Toy Story nerd, and I'm hoping this will get my kids into football just for a little bit.
I just want to know how we let that slip by. That for lock of the week, Chris picked Chicago. I just want to know how we let that slip by.
Because so we talked about it in week 2 after we dogged you for it, and on behalf of the network, I apologize.
That's crazy.
But remember, if he gets it wrong, it's minus a point.
Okay, yeah. You did say that.
That's what we had agreed upon, because your lock should be somebody that no matter what,
like Buffalo.
And then what?
Like Buffalo this week, absolute lock.
Okay. Ken has Carolina upsetting
the Vikings.
Garbage Minnesota Vikings.
Also, fun fact, Eagles, 49ers, Chiefs money line combined is minus 130. So it's actually playable. But I don't know if you actually want to do that.
How many units you putting on it, though?
A mega whale lock, 20 unit, can't miss, never going to miss, absolute mortal lock of the century.
If there was a lock to do it, that would be 3-team parlay. That would be the one.
I mean, if you have the money to do it, why not? Like, if you have like $1 million, you throw $1 million on a minus 130, you'll still make like decent money.
I mean, you could realistically just bet San Fran minus 800 if you want. You could throw $100,000 on it and win 12,500 off of it. I don't think that's a wise investment, but
I mean,
if I've got $100,000 to throw around, I might consider it.
I'm sure some people thought that Dallas at minus 12.5 last week was worth $1,000.
Yeah.
You know what people did last week? They threw Dallas money line into their parlays and just said this boosted it from like $2,000 to like $2,100, and then they lost because of it.
And we're pissed.
Well, you were pissed. You were emotional.
No, Mo wasn't mad though. Mo wasn't mad.
No,
he didn't care. Nothing could upset him that day.
Nothing was going to ruin his day, except for competitive
mad. No, you guys got it wrong.
That will ruin his day.
Nothing upset me. Ohio State won. There was nothing that could upset me.
Yeah, guys, he wasn't upset. He just had to leave the chat for the rest of the day.
Yeah,
I got kicked out. I didn't leave the chat. I might have. I was drunk. I don't know. I was drunk. I don't know what.
I don't think you actually left the chat. You just didn't talk for the rest of the day.
Yeah, because I was. You know why I stopped responding? Because I was like, nothing can make me upset, so I have to stick to it. So I'm just not going to entertain it because nothing can make me mad. So let me not get mad because I got to stick to my. Nothing can make me mad.
Man.
So how do I not get mad? Don't let Ken bother me. Don't let the Cowboys fan that's supposed to be with me make me mad about us losing to the Cardinals.
Supposed to be almost close to get it. Mo was. Think how close Ohio State should have lost. You know, they should have lost that game.
Hey, y'all said what if? Yeah, what if that Rob had said last week on See You Sunday? What if Ohio State and Dallas loses? That almost
should have happened. There was 10 guys on the field twice, and the coach was
like,
"I don't want to burn
2 plays in a row.
How do you let? I don't want to get a penalty to get a half a yard.
I don't want a penalty on the 1 yard line. Like, oh yeah, because we'll move the nose of the football, the skin of my Come on, bro.
Bro, when he said that, I was like, wait a minute. You know, it's like a half yard penalty, bro. Like, take the penalty so you can get 11 guys on the field.
You act like we were on the 15 and like, oh, I don't want to take a half the distance to the goal. No, buddy. It would have been a half a yard to the goal.
But I don't understand.
If we were
going to understand the logic behind that.
The line.
There is no logic. He just messed up royally.
Yeah, like there is no
get 11 guys on the field.
Notre Dame should suspend him.
Do a illegal substitution, get the half yard penalty. Because at the end of the day, if they were going to cross the goal line, they was going to cross the goal line with 11 men or the thing is, whether that penalty, that half a yard, if they were going to get a yard, they were going to get a yard. They were going to get half a yard, they was going to get half a yard. I don't care if you take a penalty for it. That half a yard was not going to be like, that's the difference between why we won and lost. No, it's not. If they were going to cross the goal, if you were going to stop them, you were going to stop them.
Exactly.
Half a yard was not going to make a difference.
All the timeout. Like, you worried about the pen. When he said that, I was like, is he going to review the film of him saying that and be like,
have timeouts?
I don't know if they had a timeout.
Yeah, they had timeouts, but he didn't want to get the penalty.
Oh, that makes it worse.
That makes it a lot worse.
I thought they didn't have timeouts and he just didn't want to get the penalty.
He didn't
which
want to
would
get
be
the penalty.
Oh, if you have timeouts, you're an idiot. If you had one timeout left and you see, oh, you're stupid. You suck.
It was an all-time bad coaching blunder.
Good. He gave Ohio State the win. That's what it was. It's his alma mater. He gave us the win. Let us feel good about ourselves. Anyways.
So, shout out to us.
Nothing could get more upset this week.
I just realized I could do that.
Nothing can get me upset unless Dallas loses because Ohio State doesn't play. So,
oh, you have the bye week?
Yeah, don't care about college football.
I'm definitely not going to push your buttons if we lose.
I am. Shout out to our sponsors over at SeatGeek. Trying to get yourself to an NFL game. Go get yourself to MetLife Stadium before those tickets go.
Before it's underwater.
Go get your. If you didn't make it to the Eras
City
Tour,
is underwater,
this is your
Jersey.
chance. If you didn't make it to the Eras Tour, this is your chance to go see Taylor Swift at MetLife Stadium.
Can you use SeatGeek to get a boat ride to MetLife Stadium?
You got to
$20 off boat rides to MetLife Stadium. I hope everybody's safe in New York as well.
Use promo code underwater for $20.
Oh, people are losing homes, Ken, and you are being so like,
you talk shit on a dead guy.
How do you feel about the Ryder Cup today, guys?
You get to come in here and have the moral authority.
How do you feel about the Ryder Cup?
Moral authority.
Anyways,
it happened that he died this calendar year.
Yeah. Literally.
Anyways, and
we're
you're
talking
worried
about floods and people who came back from death and they suck at football, and that's all we got to worry about. Focus that they suck at football, not that they lived. They're in the worst tragedy. But
bro, he won this.
Like he sucks at safety.
Yeah, he got his time. Now let's evaluate him as a football player. He got his time. He got his awards. He got to stand up and say thank you.
No, he hasn't got his awards. Comeback Player of the Year. He is still in contention this year.
No way.
Is there anybody else that really is?
Well, when you come back from dying, that's pretty. You should have to be locked. But not Mo though. Mo's like, nah, he's.
No, he was a week 1 through 3 healthy scratch. No, he should not win comeback player of the year because he gets
dying on the field again. Make sure his fucking arteries can last one more week before they put him on the field.
Healthy scratch means you're good to go and you just are not.
Died, bro. They got to make sure he doesn't die again on the field.
And he's not a healthy scratch. Then he's like he's coming back. He's still not healthy. A healthy scratch means you're not good enough.
You're still being cautious. Like if somebody came back from an ACL, they're like, "Hey, the doctors have cleared him."
Well, don't care.
But this game doesn't really matter, so we're gonna let him sit a couple more weeks to get him some more game time. Like
Aaron Rodgers has an opportunity to become back player of the year if he comes back at any point this year and plays a snap.
Well, we pick Aaron Rodgers over Damar Hamlin.
If he plays in week 17, bro, if Aaron Rodgers plays in week 17, he is literally comeback player of the year. He tore his Achilles in week 1 and played a game.
Damar Hamlin died, but who cares?
Aaron Rodgers can come in for the final snap to finish their 3-14 season.
Yes,
Mo will give him comeback player of the year.
Yes,
give it to Aaron Rodgers.
He wasn't supposed to come back. He had an injury where he's supposed
Damar Hamlin.
Well, anyways. All right. Come on.
Anyway, yes. SeatGeek. Use promo code Off the Ball Network. All caps to get $20 off your first.
Aaron Rodgers comeback player of the year. But Damar Hamlin, nah.
All right, it's 8:55. I got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Mo, Chris, Ken, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll see you Sunday.